Everybody, welcome back. Today we're gonna start building a house. And I'm feeling like building like a family style kind of country home. So we're gonna go with Brindleton Bay as our neighborhood for that. Um, this big lot over here, we want to do the biggest one. We'll just do build mode. Okay, so this is our lot. Excuse me. So we're gonna start. So this is gonna be the front door area, and I'm thinking dining room here, um, kitchen over here, and I can't decide if I want a full wall or a half wall there, but yeah, we'll go like not all the way over and just leave that part open there. So we're gonna have up here be the living room, so we'll kind of make a hallway to that, and I'm thinking we'll do like archways at the entry, and a little wall for a little separation. Master bedroom back there, and a little bathroom in the back. So I made the entryway a little bit too big. I'm going to have it be like a recessed entry there. And then maybe an office there with a bathroom for everybody to use. And then we'll have some bedrooms back over here. We're adding the hallway as we go, kind of too. So I try to make these as symmetrical as I can as I go. I think I have the right side a little bit bigger, so we're going to stretch this out a little bit here. Um, it's still a little bit bigger on the right, but at least this is closer. We've got our hallway, and for some reason, as I was building this, it didn't recognize the hallway as inside, so you'll see me kind of mess with that a little bit. Don't forget to use your BB Move Objects cheat so that you can place objects freely in here. I ended up placing one of these nice doors on that bedroom over there on the left, but the trim ended up being too big for that entryway. Even with BB Move Objects, it just didn't fit there. So I ended up actually replacing that for a cheaper looking door, which I don't know if I ended up loving it, but I'm gonna do some entryways here. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to do an archway in the living room too or not. I wanted to wait until after I furnished it to see how it ended up looking. So I ended up leaving it alone for now. And I always just throw this basic paint or wallpaper on the builds on the inside just so I don't see like plain drywall as I go. Someday, if I want to do a more detailed build, I'll go in and actually design the wallpaper and floor a little bit better. But um, for the most part, you'll see me just use this basic wallpaper and floor just so it doesn't look so bare. So see, here I'm having issues with that. For some reason, it wasn't recognizing. If you know why it didn't recognize this hallway as inside, let me know because that really bothered me as I was building this. It was fine, ended up being fine because once you put the roof on, it's inside or it's like covered, so it's not gonna rain in there or anything, but um it still kind of drove me nuts. Building roofs is the hardest part of building on The Sims 4. You always have to make sure that you fix those um see where it's clipping there a little bit. You have to make sure you're moving things and bringing in those easements or the edges. Um, so I went back to the drawing board, ended up pulling that front door out instead of having it recessed. I think that was throwing it off a little bit for me. And then I moved the whole house back a little bit so that I could add a little bit of a front porch to it. But so you'll see me playing around here with the roof a lot. I could not figure out what I wanted to do on this one. I ended up going with, I think this one's called the hipped roof. Um, and then switched to this one. And I liked that a little bit more. I still wasn't in love with it, but it did look a little bit better than having the two huge archways. And a little tiny roof over the bathroom there. And I liked that I had like a little extra arch. We moved that down so that it looked more seamless there with the other roof. There was my roof. So I ended up being okay with how it ended up, but like I said, not my favorite roof. I will get better at building roofs the further or the more I do this. That is my goal. So we went with brick. As I said, we were doing like a country cozy theme here. So brick just felt like the right way. Always do your roofing trim. That is the finishing touch on roofs. If you're wondering why your roof just doesn't look real, it might be because it doesn't have roof trim. Here, I realized that I needed to move that over a little bit more. And then here, I decided that I didn't like the roof that I made. So I kind of went back after I was done and throwing this in here in the middle, but I wanted to add an extra arch. I think this made it look more real. I was struggling with the way that it looked before. I just didn't feel like it looked like a real house. And I think it was because of the roof. So I liked this a lot more. And then I decided I needed a chimney too. You'll see I throw a fireplace on the inside right around there. So this fit. And then I did some landscaping because honestly, a house never looks real without landscaping. That's another thing. People just build the houses and then they don't put the plants around it. And then they wonder why doesn't my house look realistic? And it's, you know, if you drive around your neighborhood, you never see a house that doesn't have landscaping, even if it's weeds. I didn't like the clipping on this roof, the way that the trim was clipping so badly. So I ended up actually leaving the trim off of that part of the roof. That might bother some that it doesn't look exactly the same as the others, but the clipping bothered me more. So that is what it is. And then we'll throw our mulch in all around here. Make sure you do mulch all the way around the house. You can even put stones around your mulching to make it look more real. You know, like a garden border kind of. But okay, so now we're gonna throw some windows in here. I thought about putting them in the kitchen, but then I realized that I wanted to do my cabinets and stuff first because I feel like sometimes the cabinets can make it a little bit of an awkward placement. We're doing lots of windows in the living room. I'm all about the open light in this house. I'm thinking like if I lived in the country, right off the beach, I would definitely want lots of windows so I could see and have lots of natural light. I like to center them in the rooms, but also make sure that they look okay on the outside of the house at the same time. So here's where I went back and changed my mind about the door. Even though I had the BB move objects, I realized that I did not like the way that it was clipping into the other room with the trim. So I changed all of those doors in that hallway there so that they would look a little more uniform. And then I realized since it was recognizing that hallway as outside for some reason, I had to change the brick back to my normal paint. So back to windows, adding lots of natural windows there in the dining room and the entryway. Loving these big windows on this build. Absolutely loving it. So like I said, we're holding off on the kitchen until I get my cabinets in there, adding some little windows in these bathrooms. You know, nobody wants a peeping Tom in your bathroom, so it's the tiny little ones. And we're gonna go ahead and pick a light for the kitchen. This is, for some reason, well, aside from the roof, this is one of the hardest parts because I never really love any of the lights, to be honest. If you have a good like mod or CC that has better lights, please link it in the comments because I I need better lights. These lights are they don't do it for me, okay? So I do always add like these little recessed lights. I really like to have a lot of light while I'm building. I mean, while I'm playing too, who wants to play with a dark house? So we're just gonna go with these basic ceiling lights for the rooms and then maybe a couple chandeliers. This is a lot of chandeliers in a house, okay? Don't judge that. Okay, so moving on to the kitchen. I really am obsessed with green, you guys, like just greenery in general. Obviously, I know I said in my last video, I'm always putting plants on everything, but I think you will see me use a lot of green. But I really like this sage for this house. Um, I started to go with black for the appliances, but I realized the black stove really wasn't black. So we went back to silver for the fridge. Throw a little sink in there. And I really want the sink right here because I want to be able to put a nice window right above where the sink is. So I moved the stove over a little bit because nobody wants the sink right next to your stove. That's weird. Do the upper cabinets. And I loved how when I did that corner cabinet, how it changed that one a little bit. That was super cute. Add a little hood range for the stove, a little fire alarm, of course. So our Sims know when they need to run towards the fire and yell and scream and panic. If you know Sims, you know that. Of course, we need a microwave. We'll do a little stand mixer since we're doing like a country living home and always a coffee pot. And you know me, we gotta add a little plant. I love this little succulent decoration there. I just put that up there as kitchen decoration, and I'm actually gonna move that plant to block the trash can. Some tea bags. I don't know. I think I ended up not going with that. And then utensils to cook with. Little dishware rack. All right, and I'm happy with that kitchen. I really am. We'll add windows later. So we're gonna do a little nook over here, even though we have our formal dining room in the other area. Just a little breakfast nook. Just because there was so much extra room there. Go with a bay window on that wall. I started to put it here on this wall. And then when I turned the screen around, I realized it looks really stupid with the upper cabinets with that big window. So I actually ended up going with some smaller windows that went all the way across. And we stuck with that window for the whole kitchen. Remember, like I said, lots of natural light in this home. It was bothering me that I couldn't get this window to be even with the others. If you know how to do that, I'm already using BB Move objects. Again, let me know. I'm always open to learning and improving. So, the kitchen, I went to go with those green chairs that I used in my last video, and I realized I was not being very original, so we went with something a little bit different for this one. Excuse me. Throwing in our plants. And anytime I have plants, I want those pots to match, so we change those all to white. Loving this dining room. Just trying to figure out what kind of decor I want to go with and like just keeping the country family home in mind. I thought those plates would be a good one. I really liked that, but I realized it was a garage door, so that's kind of weird. We just went with some more plants. And we threw those hanging plants up in the kitchen too. Okay, so into the living room. So remember, I was still thinking about maybe adding the arch into the living room. So I was thinking about that while I was furnishing this. I like this couch, but it gives like hippie grandma vibes. Okay, does anybody else do this when you're looking for couches? I really always want a comfortable couch. I want the couch that looks the most comfortable or is the most comfortable for my Sims. But I also really want my couches to have a love seat that matches. And it really bothers me that so many of these couches that actually look comfortable don't have love seats that match. I'm not kidding. If it could change one thing about the game, it would be that. Every couch needs a love seat. So I ended just going with two couches, I guess, even though like in real life I would never do that in my home. I guess probably some people do, but um again, if you have mods or CC that have better living room furniture than what's offered in game, please link it in the comments or let me know what your favorites are and I'll be happy to check those out and add those into this game. So I love my rugs. We're throwing rugs in everywhere. Just adds a nice little accent to the room. And of course, with our cozy country home, we need a fireplace, right? I started to look at window coverings, and honestly, again, that's another thing that I really don't like any of the window coverings that they have in this game. If you again, CC and mods, link that for me or let me know what your favorites are. I thought the blinds might be okay, but really, nothing really worked well with the windows that I chose, so we chose not to do any. Let's in more natural light anyway, right? So we added the archway and then it was time for end tables. So we went with these little white end tables and did change the entertainment center to white to match. And then time to throw some decorations onto the fireplace. You'll see me struggle a little bit in choosing things there. And this time, instead of going with my little wiener dog that I said I was going to go with, I went with a chicken. Country home. So that just felt right in this situation, but maybe next time I'll throw Weenie back in there. All right, and then we go to editing or furnishing the master bedroom, sorry. Um, I'm gonna build a little closet over here. And I've said in my previous ones that the closets really make the bedroom seem way more realistic. In real life, it's not considered a bedroom unless it has a closet, at least in America. So you literally never see a room without a closet. So I like to just add those in there. Excuse me. Master bathroom. All right, can't have a bathroom without a towel for your shower. And a hand towel. Add a little artwork in there, and I think that's, oh yeah, can't do it without a plant. And that's done. I like it. Did anybody count how many times I said I like it in this video? It's been a lot. Add a few more decorations into the bedroom. And of course, our plants. And then I saw these decorations while I was scrolling through, and I thought those would be cute in the kitchen, so I threw those in there. And I think I found a few also for the living room. And then I really want window coverings in this bedroom. For some reason, I just feel like that would be the finishing touch on this wall. So we want some blinds, even though I don't love them. And I put them in the bathroom too because it's weird to go to the bathroom without blinds, I guess. Throw a little mirror in there. Of course, make it match. And we need a clock so we wake up for work on time. Maybe a little something for that other nightstand too, so it doesn't look so bare. And of course, you need a rug. That's the finishing touch. We'll go with a different one. We have to make them small enough, or like, the right size to fit perfectly. That's perfect. Okay. So moving on, we'll do the bathrooms over here really quick. So this bathroom was the one for the two other bedrooms. So it's going to be a more in-depth bathroom with the bath and shower and all the things. Do a mirror and a little light above the mirror. Maybe a plant there. And then I always like to add, our realistic touches, your toilet paper, your towels, and then maybe a little bit of clutter too. So we'll do a laundry hamper, maybe a shelf. Yeah. I was just looking to see if I could find another one that looked better because this one didn't quite match the cabinets that I had, but it's all right. I went with it. And then this one technically would be probably a half bath in the real world, but it was a little bit big and it looked kind of bare with just a toilet and a sink. Um, So you'll see after I do all the little touches here, I ended up adding the shower in there. Little artwork. See, I was kind of looked around and it fit, so why not, I guess. You know, in The Sims, they're always fighting over showers anyway when it's time. So this room, I decided I wanted to be a kid's room. We went with a boy. We're gonna go with the blues this time. The dresser, and that dresser matches perfectly. Again, I wanted some blinds for the bedroom, even though I don't like the look of any of the blinds in this game. Okay, and of course for the kids' room, we're gonna add some toys. So we'll do the little barnyard since we're doing a country house. And a few toys on the dresser. And this one, yeah, they can't actually play with this one, but it's a cute little decoration with all the extra toys. Some books on the desk. There's a cute little team photo that I found in there. I really liked that little touch. And an art box or craft supply box. Of course, a rug. And this is like my all-time favorite rug. Every time I have a boy, I use this rug. I love it. So we got our bookshelf, we got some toys, our big stuffed animal, and the art table. Make that match, and that's that bedroom. I think I'm, yeah, I think I'm good. I think any more decorations would just be cluttering it. So, we'll make this room. I always make these with like a guest in mind, but it could definitely be like a teen's room too. And throw in, oh, a little alarm clock into the kids' room too. I forgot about that. A little clock, a few plants. I thought about putting a decoration in there, but they were all a little wild. And we'll turn that so it's not blocking the window there. And maybe just some artwork on the wall. Okay, and then this is our office or study. Um, so I'm gonna go with like a more rusticy country theme in here. A really worn rustic desk there. We'll do some bookshelves to make it like a library. Pick some cute ones there. I like them better on this wall. I think when you're playing The Sims, you know how it's like these big things like the desks and stuff will just get in the way of your view of the rest of the house if you put them in the wrong spot. So you could really put them anywhere, but for me, it bothers me. Do a little art easel and a woodworking table, and then we need some chairs for reading our books. We'll throw a couple plants in here. We'll get a rug over here. And I think that's beautiful. This actually, honestly, guys, might be one of my favorite rooms I've ever done. I love that so much. Okay, and I was thinking about a rug at the entryway, but I don't know, it just didn't look right. So we'll go with like a little welcome mat outside, maybe a little track mat for inside, and one at the back door too. And that's it. This is our house. We've got our kitchen and dining room, our master living room, cute fireplace, bathrooms here, the kids' bedrooms, our beautiful study, and that's it. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And you can get this from my gallery. Thank you guys.